Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on the air, especially today. The day is a jazz day for us. 60 years ago, a lot of things was happening in America, and I want to give out our email number. I mean, so you can email and website. It's www. Dot mothers mothers for police accountability.org. And so anyway, check us out. And almost, this is our 33rd year coming up here. So, hey, we're not 60, but 33rd. Let's bring up Mr. Rye. He's had a ball this weekend. He's been dancing in the streets and walking 100 miles. He walked 100 miles for freedom yesterday. So 100 miles for freedom. I walked all the way from Alabama. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Reverend Harry. No, that was one of the shortest marches I've ever been involved with, but the symbolism of marching, emulating what happened 60 years ago today, when some people say over 250,000 people gathered in Washington, D.C. at the Lincoln Memorial, Lincoln Monument, and where Dr. King gave his I Have a Dream speech.
Yes.
And also, John Lewis, several other people were speakers. I think Dorothy Height was one of the speakers. But the significance is that in 1964, we got the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Black folks didn't have civil rights until they passed that law. And then in 1965, we had the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And as everybody knows, our civil rights and our voting rights are under attack right now, led by some auspicious characters like Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas and,
yes.
And the father of affirmative action, Dr. Arthur Allen Fletcher, gave him that name after he said, "I allowed President George H.W. First 41 to talk me into supporting Clarence Thomas, and he said he is antithetical to everything that got him to where he is." He got his college scholarship, but he's been a taker all of his life, and he still is taking right now. He and his wife are in this partnership with the right wing. She's being paid by people, billionaires who have interest before the Supreme Court. Every other week, there's something new about Clarence Thomas. $267,000 RV, some additional trips he took. It must be over $10 million now, but there's no code of ethics for Supreme Court justices, and just us, them been taking the money, and without any fear of any repercussions. It's unfortunate, and then they sit around and lean so far to the right, they've fallen off the bench.
Well, that's just it. They're falling off the bench, and history will record them. The Robertson Court has been the most corrupt court probably in history and this modern time. I mean, it's probably been some in in the early 1900s that we don't know about, but because we don't have that stretch of history. But corruption, one thing we just have to tell the truth. They could talk about the Democrats and talk about deep state and all this other stuff, and and always have all this false stuff going. But corruption follows the Republicans. I mean, for the day, when they run up to debt and give all their friends all these contracts, and they sell what gold-plated knobs, water fountain, water knobs for the bathroom, faucets back to the government for thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, so the corruption is really on their end. And then the rich money, and there's a lot of money. A lot of these corporations that people buy from every day. I mean, Chick-fil-A. I mean, the pillow guy, and all of them. I mean, even the people that we think that helping us, they still hedge their bet and give to the other side, and that's why they have so much money. I mean, because they're corrupt in money, and the Koch brothers. And every time you buy paper products in America, you are supporting the Koch brothers. I mean, and these are the people who funded the Republican Party. Now they're trying to go over there with the Federalists and trying to look at the 14th Amendment. But they created this party of corruption.
Oh, there's no question about it. And right now, Donald Trump says, I've done nothing wrong, but find me 1,780 votes. And it's amazing how this racism is just really coming to the surface.
Oh yeah, but that's all it was about.
With the elections and stuff, and the stuff you see in Florida, this 21-year-old guy went and killed 3 people, and he had all kind of white supremacist ties.
Yeah, but he was raised in freedom. So why does he hate us so much? Okay. And the governor showed up at Jacksonville the other day. He got booed, and one of the elected officials told the people to stop booing him. He's directly responsible for this stuff going on in Florida. Exactly. And Black people need to stand up. I know they got some good jobs down there in Florida. They're afraid. They're afraid Massa going to take the jobs away, because that's what happens, in slavery. Massa goes give you a little piece of something and take it back. But until we wake up to know that our good does not come from white people, I will be free. Yeah. The day we recognize that. But as long as we think it comes from them, we were going to always be in bondage. And even Marcus Garvey told us that. So, yeah.
I noticed that some of the people are canceling their conventions in Florida because of the antics of Ron DeSantis. But getting back to today is the actual day, August 28th. And this day, August 28th, was selected because by A. Philip Randolph, that was the day that Emmett Till was murdered. And that's why he selected August 28th.
That's right.
But today in Seattle, in Martin Luther King Jr. County, we did have a march. I let everybody know that was invited that we did not have a permit for the march, but we had to march because it was mandated. We also know that had it not been for redlining and 25 years of no affirmative action, there have been a lot more Black people because they live right in the community. But now Seattle is 7% African American. Okay, so that's why things look like they look. And it's been 50 years since we dropped that redlining report on how Seattle was, the central area was redlined. And then everything they predicted 50 years ago have come to fruition. Then the other thing is that when you have economic inequality, 25 years of no affirmative action, a lot of family-owned businesses go out of business because there are no opportunities. And in 2021, African-American-owned businesses did 0.18% with state business, not 0.2%. And Governor Jay Inslee signed an executive order in January of 2022, but at the end of 2022, African-American businesses did 0.22% of the state's business. So as long as we have no economic participation, we will not own our piece of the rock. And it's really unfortunate that the people who have labored so hard and so long, and as my daughter say, built this joint for free, now are still the most despised people in this country. And Marjorie Taylor Greene and Ken Gatz and G.Y.M. Jordan, Jim Jordan, and those kind of folks are pushing on Kevin McCarthy to start an impeachment inquiry on Joe Biden about something that his son allegedly did.
Yeah, but that's not. But his son didn't get elected for president. Okay,
when you look at the rap sheet of Donald Trump and his cohorts, that's why she was able to 19 co-conspirators in a RICO scheme. And the thing I like about it is that the Black guy, Wayne Harrison Floyd, is still in jail.
Yeah, he is, because
the leader of the Black.
He couldn't make bonds. He couldn't get he didn't have no money.
Well, you would say that the leader of Black Voices for Trump.
Well, but Trump
is he's building everybody else out of jail. But
you know what? But at the end of the day, anybody who collaborate with people who are harming your race of people. Now we got away from being a race because we fell into being African Americans, which means you're individual. But that cohesive group that Thurgood Marshall went to the Supreme Court with, when you give up being connected to that and you're an individual, you over there with these other people who don't care anything about you. But also on top of all of this, the Michigan state attorney general there has formally charged all of those people for felons today. So now she's this lady. Michigan is following Fulton County.
Okay. Well, that's good.
And there's 16 people in Michigan being charged today, all felonies
With
for
fake elections,
trying
right?
to trying to overturn
Mm-hmm.
and to I mean, all that's against the Constitution. So I mean, all these people
Absolutely.
willfully, I mean, they knew what they were doing, and she says in the charging paper, they absolutely knew what they were doing was a violation of the law and the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so these women are being hard as
Yeah,
prosecutors.
they've been getting a lot of death threats too, like DA Fonnie Willis. But I want to say that today, August 28th, at 5:15, there will be a food served at the Northwest African American Museum. Then there'll be a panel discussion.
Yeah, I'll be there. Go ahead.
We
But now I
understand
was
that
hoping, yes.
Mayor Bruce Harrell will be there. I just spoke with Seattle Port Commissioner Fred Feldman. He said he would come through.
Yes.
Representative Sharon Tomiko Santos will be there.
Yeah.
And I know that Representative David Hackney was invited. I don't know if he's going to be there. Court Commissioner Toshiko Hasagawa was out of town, and Commissioner Hamdi Mohammed had other. So, you know, it was getting folks together, but
I'll be there.
it's a chance to talk to folks about how can we make changes 60
That's right.
years
How we make
after,
changes. That's right.
60 years afterwards.
60 years afterwards. And the
and
crowd was
still under
smaller
attack.
this year. You know, the crowd in Washington, D.C. was not as large as it was with people who protest against George Floyd in 2020. I mean, so you had some people showed up. They say thousands shows up. I mean, tens of thousands, but not in the numbers that they did even 3 years ago at the 2020. I mean, so there's really work to be done in America. I mean, because if people don't understand history and connecting the dots and everything you got, you go in these jobs. I mean, you didn't get these jobs by just showing up every now and then. You got these jobs because people never went home. They never went home.
Okay, well, I also want to give a shout out to the preaching. I know that the Seattle Griot Project did some filming. I don't know when that'll be available. They recorded everything that went down on Friday night at Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Baptist Church, and I got a note from Reverend Dr. Linda Smith, the pastor of of Martin Luther King, and she wasn't feeling too well yesterday, so I'm praying for a good health for her. She's an outstanding leader. Bringing the clergy together, a very outstanding leader. So we want to wish her health to be better, and the Lord to bless her with good health, so she can keep on in the struggle.
Right. Yes. Well, she can keep on and doing this work, but I'm jazzed because I graduated 60 years ago, so I just have a lot of excitement about this because we have survived the Bay of Pigs. Nobody talks about the Bay of Pigs, and that's another Bay of Pigs going on in Florida right now, but people don't understand it. It's like, we survived the Bay of Pigs. We all thought we were going to get nuked. So we have another kind of nuke coming at us now. So we have to get that energy again. And I want to appreciate you and KL and all the people who put this together, and the Northwest African American Museum, and all of the help. I mean, it took a lot to put this on, and even the preaching, and I mean, it really was a great effort. And I mean, I can just imagine what it was. People going to Washington D.C. on those buses 60 years ago, not leaving not one cent in Washington D.C. I mean, it's something to think about.
I just wanted to clarify one thing. I sent out a copy of the notice about the permit being denied to everyone. So I wanted people to know if they participated in the march, they were doing it against the policies and procedures of the city of Seattle. But I also contacted Chief Adrian Diaz, and also I sent the mayor's office, as well as all the city council members, county council members, county executive, and his staff, information about the Zoom meetings we had for a month and a half before the event. And the march was always on the calendar. So I wanted everybody to know that if you participated, you would be in violation of the city's special events recommendation. But therefore, it was important for Gabriel Prawl, President A. Philip Randolph, Darrell Powell, President of Seattle King County Branch of the NAACP, Reverend Harriet Walden, the clergy, the union, Kevin Allen, with the Washington State Federation of Employees, I mentioned Gabriel Prawl, Seattle Chapter 8, Philip Randolph. It was important that those people lead organizations that were responsible for organizing the march 60 years ago. And the most important thing is that they did show up. And they do represent a large number of people. And once again, Gail Shannon and Bob Barnes, who was
Bob was there. Yeah, I saw all those
Bob.
people
Bob was one of the guys that was out there to help us. Really, the first committee to change the name of the Empire Way to Martin Luther King, and also was one of the co-founders of the Seattle King County was MLK Celebration Committee, but someone took that name and the money that went with it.
Yeah, and we know who did that too. Yes.
So, but anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get reserve that name again, and we also are going to have. We've got the Martin Luther King Commemoration Committee. I asked Hayward to go ahead and get the Martin Luther King Continuation Committee. And we'll be using that because we need to continue, not commemorate. And really thankful to the pastors. Matter of fact, Reverend Steve Baber and Dr. Tracy Harrell will be the moderators for the panel discussion at 5. We're eating at 5:15. It'll start about 6 o'clock. It'll only go to 7:30 at the Northwest African American Museum. And this is the day that 60 years ago got us our rights. And if we don't stand back up, we will lose them because they're under attack right now.
That's right. And I was the one to give that side out because when you all was marching, what was behind you was Metro, and they kept those cars back. I mean, Metro, the bus, it's like, okay, somebody see what was going on, and they said, okay, we're just gonna be slow. We're slowing it up here. So that so it was pretty cool and to see all the people there, and it's just jazz to be alive and to be here. And this time I want to thank you, Mr. Ryan. I look forward to seeing you all a little later on this afternoon.
Okay, we'll be looking for you, Reverend Harriet. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, then. Thank you. So we're going to take a break right now. We listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. We'll be right back.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
Mystic Radio with Robin Alexis has moved to Fridays at 11 a.m. Robin is inviting you to call in for your free live on-air readings Fridays at 11 a.m. on Alternative Talk 1150. Please make an appointment to join spiritual healer and premier past life reader Robin Alexis live for your free on-air readings. Listen and call in on Fridays at 11 a.m. for world-renowned spiritual healer Robin Alexis. A free on-air reading with Robin Alexis can change your life.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Miss a show on KKNW? Check out 1150kknw.com for podcasts of many of our programs. That's 1150kknw.com.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW, and we still have that dream. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on air. I'm absolutely jazzed. I was waiting on my next guest, but I don't know what's happening with that. I did everything correct. So anyway, this is radio, so we just go right on. What I'm jazzed about today is that 60 years ago, I just finished high school, and I was in Montgomery, Alabama. And as I mentioned to Mr. Rai, I think most people forgotten very much about the Bay of Pigs. I mean, and it was a conflict between the United States and Cuba and Russia. And that the Russians was going to put missiles in Cuba. And the United States government said, Kennedy and Congress says not in this hemisphere. And so Florida was, they had lots of service people that camped out in Florida, Central Florida. And of course, we had to take a crash course called Americanism versus communism in order to graduate from, they came up with that curriculum very quickly so that we could graduate. We had to take that in order to graduate from college. And so we did that. Wow. And here we are today, 60 years later, and we have all kinds of conflicts going on in Florida. And he hoped, Dr. King hoped that the young girls and young boys and girls from Mississippi and all these places would shake hands and learn how to live in peace and harmony. And that has not really evolved because this weekend, a shooter shot some people there in Jacksonville at something like a dollar store in a historical Black district because the Edgewater College is there, which is an old Black college in Jacksonville, probably one of the oldest Black colleges in Florida. I don't know if it's older than Tallahassee or FAMU or Daytona Beach or Bethune-Cookman or not, but you have 3 historically Black colleges in Florida. And so they had ID. I guess they had security on campus. And so he wouldn't produce ID until the shooter was not able to get on the campus. And so I went to the drugstore. And I said, what's ironic about this is that this young man was 21. What harm has Black people done to this individual? He's only 21 and been on the planet just 21 years. And so it just, it always comes back to me to let me know that hatred is taught. It's handed down from generation to generation. And I was talking to my cousin yesterday, and she she worked in the schools there in Jacksonville, and she was talking about one young man that was a Caucasian boy and he had some needs in his house. He had some needs that they were trying to supply, and food and some other things. And when she got all the things together for this young man, he said that she couldn't deliver it because her grandfather didn't like Negroes, and he was taught that. And so he was in high school. I don't know what school she worked at. I don't know if she worked with middle school or high school, but her job was to make sure that students had what they needed, actually to come to school, to be ready to come to school. And so this was recent because she just retired about a few years ago. And it's like, wow. And so I think what's in America is deep. It's more deep-seated than most people want to recognize what's happening and how it really is affecting us, very much so affecting us. And it's like we have to understand that. And the governor in Florida, with all the rhetoric that was going on, is helped facilitating all of this. All of this is it's facilitating all of this hatred against us and to other people, as if we don't have a right to be here or to be on the planet, or to be here right now. So it's like, okay, what's going on? And as Marvin Gaye said, what's going on? And I think what's going on is that we still have this stuff that's going on against us. And I was kind of figuring out yesterday how long we've been in America, how many generations have we been here? We've been here 18 and a half generations. If we go back, all the way back to the first people who came that was brought from Africa, it would be 18 generations ago. And a generation is 30 years. And so that's a long time. So if you add up, you get 90 years out of 100 years. You get 90 years. And so if you do that, time all the years we've been here and add it up, it gets to be really a lot. So you look at 18 generations. So that means that's 90 in a 100-year span. You're going to get 3 generations, 30, 30, and 30. It's 90 plus 10 years to add on at the very end of this when you get through adding it all up. And so why, after 18 and a half generations, would we still be having people going to the grocery store and shooting at us and killing us? Is that a mystery? What is that? What is that? And you have evangelicals who's using the Bible to believe that we don't have a place to be, and they not understanding that Bible came from the Africans. I mean, if you go all the way back to the language that the ancient people spoke, Amharic, it was a language that was spoken by the Ethiopians and the Hebrew people. The Coptics are there in Egypt and in Palestine. It's an ancient language. And so the Bible that they have is not the original or the ancient Bible, because it's not. It has not really been. It has not really been distributedly wide in America, because the Coptics have it. Not the Greek Orthodox Coptics, but the African Coptics. And so they're talking about stuff that they don't even know. But more importantly, how can you take this scripture, the Bible, wherever it came from, and you say you are a believer in it? How can you take that information and read those scriptures and don't think it applies to all people? That's the misnomer for me. It's like, okay, do you believe that the creator of the universe had favorites? And all the different color, beautiful butterflies was made, and all the birds are not the same, but they're all birds. They're all butterflies. And how does a butterfly become a butterfly? Well, we all know that there's a metamorphosis that goes through for a butterfly to become a butterfly. And then you got all the bees in the world. And you have, so you have all of these insects in the world. And some of them, they're not the same, but they're still insects. And to think that some people was created inferior, so that means that what kind of God is that you believe in? If you believe that some people was created inferior and other people were created superior, well, then that's really, so is an oak more superior than an evergreen tree? I mean, so is an apple more superior than a peach? A grapefruit more superior than an orange? So you look at these things and then you ask these fundamental questions. Well, then what's going down? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it that's happening? So but I think our job is to keep telling the truth. I think our job is to keep telling the truth and to speak loudly. To speak loudly and to keep showing up. And people showed up yesterday, like Mr. Wright talked about. Mr. Wright talked about the marching and without a permit. Of course, I marched by sitting in my car, and that's okay. And I watched them all pass by me. And when I went inside the church, before I got into the sanctuary, I told my little green lie that I walked all the way from Alabama. Nobody believed me, of course, but it was good to see. But I'm concerned that even in Washington, D.C., a lot of people didn't show up. I mean, it was not nearly as many people there as it was in 2020 after George Floyd and all the people who took to the streets around the country. Don't they see that all of this is related? I mean, it's like, what do? You have to connect the dots. And I love to connect the dots because I'm a historian. I love history. I just love history. And like I say, I'm jazzed to be alive today. 60 years after graduating from Crooms Academy, an all Black Negro school that taught me to be proud, to taught me the way that I am. And we saw pictures of Black people every day and sing and lift every voice and sing every day of my life from the time I was 2 years old up until the time I was 18. That's what gives me the strength today, see, to be able to stand up and with Mr. Rye and all of us who are absolutely no longer teenagers. In fact, I have a teenage grandson. He's 17. And then I have a granddaughter that's 13. And so those are my youngest grandchildren. So I see assimilation is terrible in a lot of ways, because once you assimilate into somebody else's culture, you forget your own culture. And the African people along the way have done this before. I mean, because see, we left Africa over 250,000 years ago, upright and people of the world. And if you don't believe that, the oldest people in India right now has been carbon dated 40,000 years on their Negroids. They're Negroes, okay? And that means they left Africa. It's like Dr. Van Serderman said, over 250,000 years ago. So what has happened? I think we get assimilated and we forget our history. And he who forgets his history is doomed to repeat it. And that's what's happening right now. It's like, okay, let's do this. Let's be diligent. Let's be proud of where we come from. Let's be proud of our ancestors who absolutely paved the way for us. That's why I'm jazzed. And I don't want jazz because I'm on radio. You know, everybody knows I love radio. I grew up with radio. Do you want to know why I love radio so much? Because we didn't have a television. My grandmother did not believe in television. She didn't want one in her house. So I grew up without a television. Now, that didn't mean she didn't have no favorite shows. Now, she did like Ed Sullivan and Marsha Dillon, Gunsmoke. So we went across the street to my neighbor's house, who had more than one television. She was a school teacher. So she had a lot. She had a lot. So we'd go over there and she liked those programs. But a television in her house every day, not happening. And she read the Black papers, the Pittsburgh Courier, Chicago Fender, Jet, and Ebony magazine. So that's why I love radio. I grew up with radio. Radio doesn't take your thinking away. You can still do your homework and listen to radio. You can't do no homework when you're watching television. It doesn't work that way. It consumes your mind. Radio gives you an idea. You can think about things more broadly if you're listening to radio. So I'll always be a fan of radio. So I love it. But also, just thinking about, there wasn't a lot of radio access back in 60 years ago. In the South, you had Randy out of Nashville, Tennessee. It had 1,000 watts, and you could get it late at night in Sanford, Florida. We could listen to, in Seminole County and Goldsboro, we could listen to all the new music in Randy. And it was hard to hear, but we'd all be crowded around the radio just to hear those Black songs and Black voices on the radio. So what we have today is not what we had then. And of course, the March on Washington only came on the evening news. They didn't break in. It wasn't televised, not in Montgomery, because I was in Montgomery on August 28th, 1963. I left Florida, and I'd gone to visit and stay with my stepmother in Montgomery. So it only came on once, and that was the evening news. Wasn't no replay. You wasn't being brainwashed to it every 15 minutes, bringing you the news. That wasn't possible in those days. So you just kept every minute in your mind. Because you see all those Black people, and you saw Dr. King there, and of course, he was at the Montgomery Church there already in the Montgomery where I was, and so it was really, really wonderful to be there at that time. And so, yeah, I'm just having a great time. Just like I say, I'm jazzed, and I'm glad I'm here for August 28th, 60 years later, after graduating from graduating from high school, and all my kids knew all about Martin Luther King because they got history in their own home. I didn't wait for the schools to tell us anything, and to educate my children about history, any of those things. So I'm going to take a break right now. We're going to listen to some the voice of Dr. King. So I'll be right back. This is Reverend Walden at 11:50 a.m. KKNW. Thank you.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Broaden your horizons. You'll be amazed at all the topics we cover on Alternative Talk 1150.
Then I started thinking about many things. I pulled back on the theology and philosophy that I had just studied in the universities, trying to give philosophical and theological
listening to that
reasons
piece
for
that
the
Dr.
existence
Dr.
and the
King and
reality
at
of
night,
sin
knock
and
at midnight.
evil.
Listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. Make sure you check that out. That's called a Knock on Midnight. And I'm my own host today. Hey, I'm the host. My guest didn't show up. So you know what? I love radio. I just really do. And this is good. So I get to talk about not only the March on Washington, and my being jazzed to be 60 years out of high school, but also I want to just give an announcement about that Thursday evening at Langston Hughes. The Community Police Commission is having a meeting. It's having a community meeting. It's about going forward. I mean, it's gonna be a wonderful meeting. John T. Williams, Rick Williams is going to be there. It's been actually Wednesday is the anniversary of the you can't say anniversary, but it marks 13 years since John T. Williams got killed by the Seattle police, by a Seattle policeman, and started our journey for justice, not only for Rick, for John T. Williams, but other people who were shot by the police in Seattle. And our work led to bringing the DOJ to town, and Seattle entered into a consent decree, and that consent decree has not been lifted yet. In fact, it's been 2 months since it went to court, and the judge has not made a ruling yet on releasing Seattle from up on the consent decree. So it's going to be a fabulous meeting for the community. It's going to have lots of good food. And we're inviting the community to come out and be part of this meeting and to hear what the Community Police Commission is doing. We have our annual report there, and we'll have Native drummers, and it's pretty much dedicated to the Native American community. This is their land. It's still their land. It's still the pulse of the people on this land. I don't care if they've been occupied for all those years. These are people who were born on this land. And so come out to Langston Hughes, get great food, meet people, and just enjoy this meeting and meeting new people. And also, I guess there's something going on with Washington Middle School at the same time. From 5 to 8, they're giving out school supplies for children who go to Washington Middle School. So a lot happening in the world today. I mean, we've got a lot of things that's going on. A lot of good things are happening. And I think we have to be jazzed to be alive. Even though we are going through something, I think we have to find our bliss. We have to find our joy along the way. Because what people want to do is to take your joy, to make it sorrowful. Because sorrow tells the cells that you don't want to live. I mean, whenever you're depressed and full of sorrow and despair, your body begins to wind down. Because life goes forward and onward, and what takes you forward is joy and happiness and bliss, and kindness and generosity, and goodness. All of these are the things that take you forward in life. and to make you, it compels you to pick up your bag and pick up your load and keep going and not giving up. I mean, and I think our athletes show us that so well. I mean, they show up, the little tights, they be out there playing little league and trying to win. And it goes all the way up to sports and the Olympics and all of that. And so life is about never giving up. It's about moving forward. It never goes backwards. You've never seen a clock run backwards. If so, it must have been in a horror movie, but it wasn't for real. You've never seen that. Never seen that. Again, if you're just tuning in, I'm jazzed. I'm jazzed about the day 60 years ago, what was happening in America, that over 250,000 people showed up, watched the monument with the March on Washington. And just think about that time. It was segregation was the law of the land. I was born in segregation, didn't know nothing else. And so it was no public accommodation for Black people. And it was no buses. I mean, and so you couldn't just go out and rent a bus. I mean, like you can actually rent a bus today. I mean, lots of people got transportation systems. That was not available. There was no public accommodations, not in Washington. As I heard yesterday that some might have been in Maryland, but in Washington, D.C., I think they might have stayed in people's homes, but they left. And also they had sharpshooters up on the top of those buildings up there that people didn't know about. They were waiting to be able to find out if anybody was going to be trying to start anything. They were prepared. The United States government was prepared that day to kill people. Praise God. If they expected people to just act out or whatever, that didn't happen. I mean, people came with determination. The check they bounced. It was insufficient funds, and it's still insufficient funds, because we built America. Over 240 years of free labor makes America great. Now, all the other people come, they added on, but they did not build America. The Chinese came in the 1800s and built and finished the railroad from the west, connecting it to the Midwest, or even on into to Chicago, which is still not part of the Midwest. But so that's why history is important. We must teach our children history. They must know history before they leave their home. So if the teacher's telling them something that's not true, they know what truth is, because truth comes from the parents. Malcolm was right. He says, only a fool will let your enemy teach your children. And this is what happens when a people is assimilated. And I said earlier, we have had opportunities. We people the land. We people every continent. The late Roanoke Rashidi, an anthropologist, Dr. Roanoke Rashidi, passed away a couple of years ago in Egypt. Inside a pyramid, actually. He was taking a tour of people there with him to travel there. So we know what our history is. We just don't do a good job of teaching it to our children or teaching it to other people. And that's what we have to do right now. We got to take on Florida. We got to take on this. Marcus Garvey said, you must clap back. You must clap back. You cannot let propaganda go down in history as a lie go down in history as and becomes the truth. And that's where we are right now. And that's why this day is an important day. It's important for us to know about it. And I have prayer commitment sheets and passing them out for people who want to make a prayer commitment to children, because the children are in trouble. The Maasai people say, how are the children? And the answer should be, the children are well. But we say, how are the children in America? No matter what color they are, how are the children in America? And the answer, and we scream back, is that the children are not well. School is starting. The apprehension. I don't know what it's like to be in a classroom, the fear that somebody's going to come in with a gun. I don't know what that feels like. These children have grown up in a generation. Remember, a generation is 10 times 3, and you learn that by the time you're in the 3rd grade. 10 times 3 is what? 30. 30 years is a generation. So the children have grown up 30 years and have not known peace. That's a sad commentary on Americans and Americans adults. that we've created a world where children have known no peace. I mean, I knew peace and segregation, folks. I did, because my school was safe. My Sunday school was safe because the superintendent was back there with a gun. I didn't know that when I was growing up. I grew up at Allen Chapel AME Church. Mr. Wynn was the superintendent. I didn't know he had a gun on him, but he was ready. And I know we had guns in our house. We were my people were ready. Wasn't nobody scared up in my country. Wasn't nobody scared in my community, at all. And I walked to school. Wasn't no school buses for the Negroes. I had to walk in the rain. We didn't get snow. I'm from Florida now. I can't tell a tale like that. We didn't get no snow. Every now and then you would get a hard freeze and the oranges would freeze. I mean, it would be a hard freeze. And my grandmother said every 100 years, I mean, she had seen some snow, but that was before my time. So anyway, but the sense of violence in America, and we've always had violence against us now. Don't get it twisted. Okay, they've been lynching us and killing us and frying us and taking our skins and taking body parts home, souvenirs for their children. So I want somebody to do a dissertation about what happened to the children that the parents took them to see the lynching. What happened to their children? It's what I'm interested in. What happened to the children? What happened to the children's children? What happened to the descendants of the parents of the children who went to see lynching, and they took body parts home of Negroes? And I've said Negro very proudly. I'm not ashamed to say I'm a Negro. So my birth certificate, my mother's death certificate. I mean, you belong to a group of people. Being an African American is that you're an individual. You get nothing done as an individual in America. People move in groups in America to be able to move forward. And that's what Dr. King was talking about. You move in a group, that's what it's about. Your group, you have to organize. And Marcus Garvey said you have to organize for your own self-protection. And I don't think people understand that. It's being organized. Organize. And affirmative action, people stop organizing. They got themselves a good job. Believing that they're good comes from the good job. But what we have to understand that all our good comes from the Creator. Man might be a channel, but it's not the source. Man is never the source of your good. And if you believe that man who signs your check is the source of your good, well, it's misguided. Dr. King knew the source of his good, but he was trying to shake the tree of the people who thought they had, who was the source of our good. But no, our source of good is the Creator. And the day that we recognize that and understand that our freedom doesn't come from any of these people, only God gives freedom. You were born free. Your soul is free. Harriet Tubman decided one day that she knew she was born to be free. We were born free. And the day we recognize that, then the day that we absolutely understand who we are the free people that God has made in the world. I am so happy to be here today on this Jazz Day, 60 years after the March on Washington, when I was just finishing high school. And I'm so grateful. And I'm going to continue to do the work I can for liberation. And I hope you'll join me in that. Let's do this work together. You live and listening to the Mother's Justice Show at 11:50 a.m. KKNW. Oh, that's right. Just be jazzed about life. I'll catch you next time. All right. Take care. And let's get jazzed about life. Thank you.